would like to change things up, something a bit more standard. It does kind of play towards Reflex EU, but at the same time, I'm looking at it like, well, does it really?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I think both of these teams are pretty comfortable on the map. I'm just surprised that we see it over maps like Overpass, Mirage, where both of them also have a pretty good history of running it. Inferno as well. I'm surprised that we haven't seen that in the pool. So I'm a bit confused as to why Nuke is a part of this, especially in a best-of-1 format. Usually, if you're going to see Nuke against an opposition where it is still favored for the other team, it's going to be in a best-of-3 series where you have other opportunities to swing the matchup in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's have a look, see how it's going to go around here for the pistol round. BuzzKill looking like they're going to start on CT side as we get ready for our pistol. So very important one. We saw BuzzKill again. The main thing I'm looking for here, Yumi, is to see whether they can take control early on in the map up. If they can get control early in the half, then that means that they could possibly use that momentum to swing back into the favor of the half overall. Reflex, however, a T side that could throw up a bit of a fight. They've got the double flash smoke on KP's, default pistols and Kevlar for everybody else. As the diffuser and smoke will be on Hawk, again default pistols and Kevlar for everybody else. So Reflex, 4 players straight into the lobby. Flashbang in from KP's. We'll try and sell the idea that it will be an A-side play. Flashbang's going over, and Hawk again just here with the USP will spot them as he gets taken out first. Good shot from Impact. JSAV comes up 2 frags. 4 frags found by JSAV. Wow. Headshots are plenty by him. That's a bit of a shame we didn't get to catch that, but I don't think it matters too much. BuzzKill will be absolutely stellar with that.
Yeah, Reflex getting devastated there by the individual skill of JSAV. A lot of players there to support, act as distraction, but he's the one that knocks them down. Cape is left in the 1 versus 4, not really much to do. He was the one who bought the utility, and Kraze eliminates him just as he swings through the door. They were going for that lobby crunch just to go for information, track him down, and they do so successfully. Reflex, not exactly the best of starts to their T side, but we saw the same sort of a start from BuzzKill in that previous match. Of course, they did sort of win out in a pretty big fashion. I think they ended up in a 7-1 scoreline at one point, but they allowed their opposition back in. They allowed David Black back in. Whether they'll allow that same thing to happen in Reflex or whether they're warmed up on Nuke, that's what remains to be seen.
Well, BuzzKill obviously with a major advantage to kick things off. SMG kill coming through the sword-off shotgun for Whiskers. I don't think he's going to get a chance to chime in. Does get 1 kill on Hype. 1 versus 4 still remains for the man, just jump facing, hoping to catch another good buckshot to the head, and Russ might be also in danger. Nice damage to 1 point of health though. Yikes, that's a bit of a rip for Crazed.
I thought that was a misbuy from Whisk, but the fact that he gets a kill sort of negates the fact that he misbought. Because that huge money bonus you get from the shotgun, now he can get an AK in proper utility. Had he not gotten that kill, he has to skimp out on maybe either his utility, maybe go down to a Khalil to compromise. So, maybe a little bit of a miscommunication or just not reading the situation correctly, maybe just misclicking altogether. But of course, the SMG is still being saved over for BuzzKill. They're going to treat this as a bonus, try and see if they can upgrade those weapons for free, if they can overpower these players. Oh, that kill from Russ is crucial. That was a 1v1 that is completely untraded on both sides of the affair. Russ able to upgrade to the AK, and Reflex already just down to 3 players.
They make their way in towards the B-bomb site. Got 1 player playing close and hidden. JSAV is spotted out by Mog. He'll take him down. Well, that's a great weapon for the T side instead. Russ makes his way in with an AK recovered. Open up the double doors. Deny the bomb plant out here. No, Mog's ready for it, and Whisk comes up with another trade. 3 versus 2. Reflex turning the whole situation around. Crazy with a chance to deny the bomb plant though. In against Mog. The smokes are after. Spot Whisk. As Whisk takes out his teammate. Suddenly he's caught between 3 rocks and hard places. Whisk ends up with his triple kill eventually. As Cray is just losing his teammate, unable to get the spray together and tried to transfer it away. Not a confident retake from BuzzKill.
They pulled that back from a 3 versus 5. They go completely. They lose out on no additional players after they give up those first 2 kills, and Reflex recover the situation perfectly. A couple of players down to 5 and 4 HP respectively. I think it was a surprise to both us as well as Craze that he didn't finish off that kill onto Whisk, but it was crucial that Whisk stay alive. So the first round accumulated here for Reflex. Some utility bought up, the AUG in the hands of Mog. Whisk gets slammed down through the edge of the smoke. Craze able to see above it as a result of sitting on top of the hut. This smoke outside means it's a little bit more difficult for Reflex to get down towards Secret unchecked. Cape will still navigate his way there. Hype finds the timing, overwhelms Emmy, and they take down Impact as well. Cape they might not know he's here, but he's got his odds stacked up against him. The bomb, the other side of the map.
Much more like it for BuzzKill. Again, major criticisms about how their confidence sort of didn't quite play up in the early part of the halves, and this time it's been looking more confident than ever. Great rounds coming through from the CT forces, certainly getting back into their comfort zone with Reflex. Now down to 1 versus 4 and KP's part. AK up close. Might try to look for something here, but I doubt that they're going to show their faces, not going to do anything of their own right. KP's will run straight into the likes of Hawk. I imagine this should be an easy enough kill right around the corner. Point blank. There you go. Headshot comes through. And the CTs gain a 3rd on their board. Reflex, not amazing, unfortunately. Again, they got that one round. They got a round to go. And now back to just 3 rounds of lost bonus. Reflex going to have to consider the save. Lopsided economy. Actually, a bit of a half buy back down to about $1,500. Doing risk in the AK in particular might have a bit of potential for Reflex, but that's still going to be a very weak buy in comparison to BuzzKill.
Yeah, and I think one of the players we have to look out for is Whisk on this AK. Obviously going for a bit of a hero play, trying to potentially catch BuzzKill out. They'll identify that it's majority pistols by and large, but there's a lot of trade potential here. Mog able to get that kill with the Deagle, create some additional space. Now Emmy can potentially track down this kill. Hawk going for the reface. There it is, the Deagle headshot on the trade. Whisk able to get things back as well. It's back and forth so far, but the HP not favoring Reflex in this affair.
Yeah, massive advantage for Russ and Hype, AWP and AK. The AK especially favored in these duels, and Hype will make his way in. They know that they've got them bracketed here towards the ramp room. They could escape back through lobby, but with Reflex's positions, they aren't quite committing to it just yet, and Whisk will get spotted. Hype's ready for both those players. Here it comes. Taps on tap, spray transfer. Easy enough for him. And again, that's where the AK can come to its advantage. 2 kills, low HP. Reflex didn't stand the smallest of chances in that one. A fantastic flank. They were slow to act, you know. Again, they had a perfect opportunity to rotate back over to the lobby and try and work towards the A-bomb site where there was nobody from BuzzKill. But unfortunately, they just waited too long and Hype got the final kill.
Yeah, Hype found the one exploitable angle between the two of them, the one gap that they weren't checking. Just to touch back on my point, Whisk was a huge performer for them in ESL Prem when he had played for the side. Actually, fell a bit short in the LAN finals, but potential for him to show up once again instead in this LAN finals.
So I love the Royals representation there from Whisk. Classic UK organisation, competing in Premiership a few seasons ago. Of course.
Hype's in danger here.
Yeah, he'll be taking point on the defensive. The AK is up, he'll smoke up. I think he saw a shoulder bait, and that nade could be well placed against them. Not quite as much damage onto impact in Emmy as I would have liked, but the splash still will keep them at bay for the moment. Just stalling for time here for the BuzzKill squad. A little over a minute left on the clock. They've got a lot of map control, really. They've got a lot of breathing room right now for the CTs.
Oh, they have Reflex kind of boxed in here. Hawk able to eventually finish that kill on towards K-Piz. Will eventually get tracked down. Oh, back and forth trade. It's going to be Whisk eventually finding that kill, but 45 seconds remaining. Reflex haven't made a hard commitment towards either of these bomb sites. Still trying to poke and prod. Emmy eliminating Hype towards the lower bomb site. That opens up an opportunity now. That bomb site should have limited amounts of defenses here. JSav, the closest player and the only player that can stop them from getting this bomb planted, but Impact will spot him out. JSav will instead have to reposition, maybe even completely move away. I thought he was going to wait for his teammates on the retake, but instead he takes the duel. He equalizes the affair.
Mogul trailing back. AWP taking a lot of damage. Mogul's back on 10 HP of his own, right? So Kraze could get this kill relatively easily. Meanwhile, the bomb gets planted by Emmy. And Kraze makes his way up in against Whisk. So close around that corner. One duel could end off the whole thing. And indeed, Kraze will win it out. So 2v2. Chance bought by BuzzKill. The fuse kits on both players, but they have to act relatively quickly here. Mog on 10 HP, Russ on 3, and this next phase could be one there. Lost! Indeed, Mog will get traded back by Kraze to 1 versus 1. Now Emmy versus Kraze, and Kraze gets the triple kill. Spray coming through, and the defuse will come out for the BuzzKill side. What a clutch from him on the backstab of all things. Yes, he did lose his teammate in Russ. I think he might be able to grab that AWP if he's quick enough. Just about gets there in time. Risky throwing that AK away, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they would have had enough money to buy up another rifle regardless, but holding on to that AWP, certainly a huge benefit to their economy. Reflex, however, they're going to have to continue buying forward without any opportunities really to get their own open play. If that was even really on the cards for them, we'd seen it picked up, actually, we didn't see it picked up at all on the T sides that we saw in the previous nuke match that we watched. So we'll have to see how things progress, whether that's an adaptation that could potentially go forward into either BuzzKill or Reflex's arsenal. Smokes deployed early. Reflex will still set themselves up in towards a default, expecting a bit of a different play. We saw BuzzKill change up the momentum, change up the pace a multitude of times on their T side. It's at least somewhat reasonable to assume that they may do so as well on CT.
Mog trying to challenge JSav right around this corner. Can be a face to open up part of the map here for the T side. So no more support there for JSav. I mean, he's got players over towards the heaven area, but that's about as far as it goes in terms of Russ. He won't be ready to rotate into positions. If they rushed him down, JSav would get overwhelmed and have access to B. They are going to focus on A instead here, the Reflex squad. Whisk, Impact, Mog, Emmy. All players making their way in. Hype will peek out, take that one frag. Very nicely faced from him, and minimal damage done to the lone CT side player. Mog also up to face here. Small gap. Has got the spot at the gun barrel as well. Craze comes up with the KPs in towards main. Hype deals with Mog. Both players spotted. It's Russ chiming with the AWP, and Whisk is left alone. We'll get one trade for his side, but 23 points of health. Spotted out by Hype. A triple kill for him. A fantastic defensive thrown up by him. And again, BuzzKill using their main map to start fragging. He's already on at 7 frags. Not quite as impressive as Craze, and certainly not as impressive as he was in that first map, but regardless, still doing a lot of work for his side.
That was a very procedural defense there from BuzzKill. You could see as soon as Hype won that gunfight towards door, Russ immediately rotating back, covering up lobby because he knows that they're going to want to hunt down that trade. They're going to want to commit towards the site and potentially overwhelm that player that was troublesome for them, the Starman and Hype. Russ, though, is taking a different angle with the ult this time. Could potentially get run down here. Mog tagging him up eventually, but still holding the high angle. Still trying to track him down, make a little bit more ground. JSav, though, there to save him. Crazed as well on the rotation. They eventually reinforce that position. And Whisk and Impact get taken down. I think even taken down whilst on the ladder. It's a bit disappointing to see, but of course no armor available for Reflex. It was eventually going to be an easier affair for that rifle.
Single ops up coming back in. AKs on 3 of the players here for the CT forces. Reflex try to find something here on this T side. There's already the AWP into position for Rush. Good smokes up, we'll try and see if they can keep him blind. They will get damage early onto Hype, but not much more than that. And he'll drop him through the vents. They have no idea that he's here. If they go for the vent dive now, this is going to get ugly. In fact, Hype will make his way back up and potentially creep his way forward on Cubby. Smoke at the ready. Flashbangs do come through. They do get him back up to ground level. Oh my god, he's waiting in position. He'll get spotted out. Impact, first man to fall. Whisk will get the trades though. 4v4 scenario. Incendiaries will finally deal with Hawk as Russ comes in towards the outside position. Hype gets a little bit over aggressive and Mog will punish. 3 versus 2. Favor to Reflex. JSav and Russ both held towards the outside, so the bomb site is under T-side control. They'll get the plant and BuzzKill will be up for the retake.
Yeah, we'll have an idea of where one of these players is. Russ eliminating one of their players earlier on towards outside. Smokes deployed as well to eliminate Emmy's angle. Now we need to be concerned about the bomb side as well as these close angles. But Emmy moves forward, almost lines them up. Whisk getting the first kill towards Russ. The trade immediately there for JSav, but still 2 more players to find. Mog will finish the round there for Reflex. A couple of really close calls, a couple of crucial duels as well. And I think that sort of back and forth, up and down from Hype on the ladder was something that actually cost BuzzKill in the round because he's typically a sort of hold-strong player towards door. Instead, he wanted to go for a different approach, and he just couldn't find the impact.
Yeah, that lack of commitment there from Hype is really what I believe costed it. Certainly, I'd have to agree with you on that front. Of course, he'll be trying to put the same sort of angle, but this time not going to commit so far forward. Instead, Emily was taken down straight to the back. Nice blind shot. KPS comes up with a follow-up on Hawk. Will fall off the silo, so that's a lot of HP damage done to him. Might be a bit of a chance of a BuzzKill trade, but for the moment they're in a 5-on-3 scenario with Craze recovering that AUG. Reflex, similar to BuzzKill in that first map, starting to get started here on the T side, starting to look relatively competent here. Relatively confident on the offensive line. 2-man advantage, looking for the execute towards A. This could work out really, really well. They could take up as many players as they wanted to for BuzzKill. That would be very crippling to their current money state here.
And you can see Reflex don't want to make any mistakes here, just based on the fact they have that man advantage. Expecting an initiative play as well from these CTs, just because you want to be able to stack one of those bomb sites when you only have 3 players at your disposal. Some early information, they'll eventually track down Crazed. He played on top of the lobby in a number of times in the previous matchup, maybe read into that situation, but they find 2 kills. They bring it even closer. Russ still having the AWP in hand is a huge issue here for Reflex. If he's able to get 1 more kill untraded, suddenly they're in an equal affair. They have a kit available as well as a bout of utility on the CT side, but not favoring their chances. It does seem like they're setting up to save.
Yeah, back over to CT spawn, back home. Got to hold on to those rifles. So much damage done to JSAV, so less than likely he can get that AUG to work. And I don't think he's confident on the AWP, so. Another full Reflex, BuzzKill. Fight brought back by the T side in this one. Kind of surprising, honestly. Considering how good BuzzKill were doing on that CT side, considering how many rounds were taken away from Reflex, how Reflex didn't really feel like they were having a decent chance in these, and how they were struggling essentially against Reflex. It's quite surprising. But, of course, it's similar sort of way to how, the last map went. I keep making those comparisons because it is eerily similar. It was a 7-1 to the favor of BuzzKill's opponents in the last one, with favor of David Black.
Well, BuzzKill started on the T side, but they had a really good T side themselves, and once they got to that 7-1 scoreline, then suddenly their opponents started to creep back in, right? We're potentially seeing the exact same thing, but switching of sides. Suddenly, BuzzKill, they lose one round off of a couple of quick entries towards A, and they lose the subsequent in a similar fashion. Hype getting dropped immediately and then losing a following player after that. It was really Reflex's round to lose, and they hold on to that advantage perfectly. But this time, going for an approach in towards Secret, using those smokes to their advantage. BuzzKill are here in heavy presence. They know that Reflex are committing towards Secret. They've boxed them in as well. So there's really no escape here for Reflex unless they want to give that information away to BuzzKill. But Russ on the rotation, there's the pick onto Capers.
Falls right back as well. He knows he's got the main control. He knows that there's more players out here. A lot of damage being put down by the likes of Hype and JSAV. XM1014 coming from the back to the Crazed. Flashes over. Ross will have to fall back out of position. He will be able to spot a couple of players. Again, just trying to see if he can fall away, try and stop Reflex from getting main match control. Hawk, meanwhile, towards Hell. Takes the first man along. Spots a couple more. He gets a headshot on Whisk and will be traded all the same as Emmy goes up short against Crazed. The XM completing his backstab, impact alone against Ross, the AWP. 2 kills to his name. And 8 on the board for the BuzzKill squad. They are going to be able to end off. Well, take the half advantage, I should say.
Yeah, a couple of pretty good performances so far from the likes of Crazed and Russ, both sitting on 12 frags respectively. Of course, Crazed anchoring that A-bomb site. Russ, that rotating player with the AWP, is trying to be dynamic, approaching it from different angles. He's gone in towards ramp. He's been outside. He's rotated in through main as well, just trying to reinforce locations where he's needed. Hype will once again find an entry in towards door, this time capitalizing on the smoke and spamming Emmy through it. Capers though, he's on the check. Nope, Russ is holding the angle from afar. They thought they'd found an exploitable angle, but there's a nice shot from Impact.
Against Hawk, man down, 4v3 scenario. T's are pretty weakened, however. Again, the man advantage is against them, and the 4 points of health just for Impact leaves him with not a lot that he can do. That AWP has to land that first shot, and if he loses a face, if he misses a shot, or if he just beat into the quicker to the trigger finger by any one of these players, and it's going to start to get very, very awkward for Reflex here. He moves up, spots the AWPer, does bait out the shot, and forces the fallback passive. Mog for Whisk and tag him up to Rooster. 45 points of health, but again, he will get traded back. So 3 versus 2. I don't know how to do maths there, Yumi. But it doesn't matter too much. Either way, it's a man advantage for the BuzzKill squad.
At least Jack Black isn't on the server. Impact. Good use of utility there from that player in towards CT was Russ, using the smoke to allow him to escape Impact whilst holding the angle. They're still trying to track this player now, but Russ, he's a lot further out than they expect. He gets the first kill. Whisk, his position known. Crazed and JSAV can adapt accordingly. Will be the move towards the A side, but Crazed already prepared for that. 9th accumulated here for BuzzKill, and they hold on to a fair amount of utility on those 2 players. Of course, only keeping 2 players is a hamper towards their economy, but Reflex don't have a lot of money to work with either, so this will be about just winning respective duels. You've got Emmy on no utility himself, Mog just a Molotov and Flash. We may see a faster play here from Reflex to compensate for that lack of utility, maybe just try and win out their respective duels as fast as possible. Will be a fast execution as well towards the A side.
Flash to set up a Russell's opening kill of the round. Gets the first round and falls right back. Ready for Impact, and no one checks this angle, it seems, because BuzzKill, Reflex, or David Black. 5-on-3 scenario. CT's in full control. Hype's here, and all those footsteps, and actually will drop that bomb. That's crucial. Drop that. He takes Swiss for the headshot. Fantastic movement from Hype, and Mog left alone. 1 versus 4. No real chance of this. We'll get that bomb. Might be able to get a bomb plan out of it, but nades coming through. The utility raining down from BuzzKill. Mog Headshot to find against Russ. I think he may have spotted him on cross. Actually, no, he's a little bit out of position. Doesn't matter. Up there, ready for the shoulder bait. Gets him in the arse. 10 on the board for the BuzzKill side. Very, very good CT side.
Yeah, warmed up on Nuke, it seems. I mean, just as we start to question whether Reflex could start making this comeback, start using that shift of momentum in their favor, BuzzKill answer immediately with a few rounds in their own right. It's now 3 in a row since that bout of rounds from Reflex. You'll see them in a position where they have to sort of half-buy into this situation. Of course, they want to afford up proper weaponry, maybe even get up the AWP, should that be a part of the plan, but BuzzKill, we saw how quickly they adapted as soon as Reflex went for that fast outside control in that one round. Immediately they pushed through lobby, they pushed through towards main as well, allowed those rotations, completely boxed Reflex in. They don't want that to happen again, so still spreading themselves thin, just making a bit of presence elsewhere on the map, just making sure as well that BuzzKill don't change up their CT side setup and pull something else unorthodox.
Yeah, still a little over a minute to go. What a surprising situation we found ourselves in. We pretty easily said to ourselves, yeah, Reflex have got this. It should be easy enough, but no. Apparently not. CT side of BuzzKill has a few more things to say. Rush and Hype get themselves 2 hits. Impact comes back with 1, but goes headshot and a second onto West. Third onto Mob. They'll get it. Anti-eco complete there for the BuzzKill side, only losing 1 of their rifles. Round 15 will come to play here, where Reflex have no choice but to buy up and do everything they can. 3 AKs already at the helm. No AWP, well, a little bit of AWP potential actually. Yeah, he possibly could go for it, but he has to have a regular Kevlar rather than head Kevlar, and that's dangerous. The AWP and AK will get one-shot headshots, but the range, if it's good enough on the AUG, will be quite the fun amount. Double AWP setup from Mog and Emmy might be also an interesting sort of factor for the Reflex side. A very unusual setup for a T side.
They board them up simultaneously as well, so maybe a miscommunication. Russ is going to win his duel without Mog even firing off a shot. No opportunities, so many smokes outside. Russ able to get away from that engagement altogether. Capiz can't back him down. Russ is even pushing further. He wants this kill. He knows Capiz is isolated. There's no reinforcements coming here. And he's eventually dealt with by his ex-teammate in Hype. Reflex now only 3 players remaining. Emmy still has an AWP in his own hands. Jace having a close angle as well. There it is. Emmy gets the first kill, but not anticipating the rotation there from Hawk. Whisk, simultaneous kill on the A site. That gives them a bit of space to work with and get this bomb planted. But they won't have the manufacturing type. Oh, that's perfect. Brings up Russ as well, will take him down, and he eliminates the bomb planter. That's pretty much a flawless round in terms of BuzzKill. Understanding how Reflex are set up and adapting to it on such a level that they're not shy of taking those aggressive fights.
Yeah, not at all. BuzzKill looking like a much more confident side in this one. And again, that's what we wanted to see. Yeah. Confidence coming out from BuzzKill. Because it was the T side where they struggled against David Black 444. As a result, this might be the half that things can crumble for BuzzKill. Of course, it might be, is the key question though. I'm not sure if it will be. I mean, Reflex certainly have looked like they have been, you know, shut out. Very easy shut out of this one on the BuzzKill side. The double flash and smoke for Ross with a single flash smoke and HG for Hawk. As BuzzKill go quickly fast into the A bomb site. They've done this before and not always had to make a way work out. With the impact and these headshots, 2 kills will come through for him, but Hype trades it back and now watching for a little bit more towards Heaven. Mog, USP at the ready. Whisk will make his way up and he'll be joined in the Heaven position. Emmy and Capiz coming in from main. We'll try to set up the 2-pronged attack on the retake.
Still 2 more players to find. Oh, Hawk getting caught between so many of these different angles. That's a fantastic retake there from Reflex, and it really comes down to Impact finding so much, well, impact on the bomb site. Getting those couple flick kills and just staying alive for as long as he did. You could see how far they had to come in out just to find the trade. There was nobody there fast enough on that CT side to eliminate those angles, give him a bit more support, but they get things done when they need to. They find the trades where it's available, and Reflex, that was crucial. They needed to pick up that pistol round if they wanted a bit more breathing room to mount this comeback.
In a big round, of course, will leave BuzzKill on the eco. They've gone for this in the past. Yep. You know, losing that pistol, it's like, yeah, okay. We'll go for this, we'll take the hit. Looking more forward to the round after that, where the rifles can come through. The Eagles see that we still do some damage out here for the moment for the T side as Emmy gets crazed as the first frag. Hawk goes down as the second. Hype gets a trade of his own right. The bomb will get planted by Russ, and that's really mission accomplished for BuzzKill. Full eco in that one, rushing it down, getting that extra money. Take a few rifles away from the CTs, and that'd be even more perfect, but the defuse being stuck by Impact. 10 seconds on it. Russ Yeah, it's being suppressed out by one other. Way forward, and we'll take him down. There you go. 5 on the board for Reflex. But again, BuzzKill, bomb plant. Loads and loads of money kicking around for that T side. Means a full force, not full force, but just full buy in general can come through for them.
That is dangerous for Reflex. Russ got into the vents without Reflex having any knowledge. Although they get the kill on that B-side anchor, that player on the rotation from Ram, that player had no idea the bomb was even being planted right under his nose. They get by with completely unscathed, and I wouldn't be surprised if BuzzKill make a call later on into the game where they go for that push down in towards the lower bomb site so quickly, because Reflex, there's a small timing where BuzzKill potentially exploit that. Bit of a closer setup here from Reflex. They have an SMG and a couple of them on the field. Once again, the smoke, but the lineup there from Capiz is perfect. Hawk, the immediate trade, but Impact up close and personal. He's going to be able to find 2. That's ridiculous. Russ trying to claw things back, but it's just unsuccessful. What is that from Capiz and Impact? Those double kills are so... I mean, that should not happen with Impact just on the MP9, and they know exactly where he is.
Yeah, Capiz lining up from the main area, catching them all off over to Squeaky. And these Reflex with another round out here. Clinical part of that particular defensive in BuzzKill. Back in with the rifles for this next round. Won't be able to get the AWP, but that should be fine again. Full-blown rifles lacking utility set. Capiz on the outside. Red Box and Crazed will be able to deal with him. A lot of damage done to Crazed and Hype as well. But not much to justify a massive amount of commitment there from the CT forces. They will have to fall back and go into the defensive lines because B site is now compromised. 4 players in the halls. Hawk will fall back and hold back over on the other side of the map. Floor into the outside position. Incendiaries come through. Russ will get tagged up a little bit, but not a significant amount of damage being done by Reflex. It's all up to Wisp. The main man defensive, and he gets the first man down. 22 points of health should fall to JSAB. Man advantage maintains for the BuzzKill squad. Nice lead in from Mog, but be able to do some damage. Hawk will get himself 2 frags though, and Russ swings out to take Mog out of the equation in his own right. So there you go. BuzzKill, confident T-side round, going to get unlucky 13 on the board.
And that's fantastic from Hawk. He again is a lurking presence for this BuzzKill side. We see him taking positions in towards door, just to siphon off that vents rotation. They even have that rotation as well cut off from main. This time he was outside because BuzzKill made that early commitment, throwing those smokes towards Secret, getting that initial kill. And Reflex, although they double up together, just weren't anticipating Hawk's position. This time, he's going to be there on the entry. Not just a lurker, but also an entry fragger, it seems, from the BuzzKill side. Impact can do nothing. There's no support whatsoever there for Reflex. He was there alone, and he gets completely isolated. BuzzKill get the plant down. 2 kills to the name. This should almost be an instant save call here from Reflex.
Yeah, double ops set up in play with the AUG. Not a lot of loss bonus working around for the CT side. Means that they've got to go for this save. Yeah, they'll spread out over ramp room, CT, garage. Isolated 1v1s can pick them apart if the CT side want to act as a unit, but they take the 1v1s of their own right. There could be some exit frags for the Reflex squad, and BuzzKill know this. Close to the bomb site, not going to allow a Ninja, and when they do fall out, probably fall back over to T-spawn where the CTs are less likely to be holding. As they get to 14 here, Yumi, you know, Reflex another good start in a half, but it's not quite enough, it seems.
No, this is a rough one. I mean, it's always going to be difficult if you're Reflex, because you look at the side like BuzzKill, they've only had that one player to move around. Of course, sitting in with Craze as opposed to Leaf, which is their ideal player, but not quite of age. Leaf unable to make it to the casinos, unable to take part in a couple of leagues based on his age, but they have that system in place. They've been playing with Craze for a decent amount of time, but Reflex have had this open door recently. They've made a couple of rotations. They used to have Brody on the lineup at one point, but wasn't able to make it to Prem Finals. So they've got 2 different approaches, but still very similarly skilled teams. Reflex a little bit slow out of the gates, despite their close scoreline against London. Seems like BuzzKill a very tough opponent on the nuke.
Double ops coming back in for the Reflex squad. The AUG still in for Emmy. 2 CZs for Mog and Impact. Not an ideal buy for the CT side. BuzzKill. Now Martel out, smoke towards Drill. Rush to make his way in first. Rush got the man out here, he'll be able to take down Bob. Not really for Emmy to be so close in a cubby corner. Sprays on 2 of his own right and gets traded back by JSAB. So 3 versus 3 scenario. And the missed smoke from Hawk will not allow that smoke to go out. They're going to have to wait for that one. Still charge through it. Impact gets another kill towards the back of the lobby. Trying to deny that bomb plant for a couple more seconds. He may have been successful in doing so. AWP for Wisp next thing to face up. And will not spot anybody. Shoulder baits, no overcommitments. Impact will go down as a result. So now it's both the AWPers coming in from heaven. Both the same angle. Hawk knows this. Hearing the footsteps now towards Hell, and he will take out Whisk, leaving K-Piz alone. 1v2, it's still low HP for the BuzzKill squad, so this could still be doable.
Yeah, I don't know that information's been relayed to K-Piz, though. That's a big issue for him. They've made their way on towards the lower site. He does know this. He did hear the difference in material between these two bomb sites. Of course, one of the many changes that this map has gone through to allow better soundscape. But JSav trying to track him down. K-Piz eliminates him using that CZ. Maybe he has that information at his disposal. Hawk, 8 HP to his name, a position that is very easily cleared here from K-Piz, but he can dance around that position, use the window to his advantage as well. Should he hear the footsteps from K-Piz, this is
almost takes K-Piz down, step 4 or 5 seconds. Hawk's not going to peek. Oh my god, K-Piz is going to steal it away from BuzzKill. Hawk thought he had the time. Hawk thought he was dealing with a fake, but no, not to be. Not even a smoke, just straight up stuck it. And 7 on the board for Reflex. They're going to bring themselves within half of the BuzzKill line and just deny the match point for them.
And you can see the line of thinking there from Hawk as well. He knows he's low HP. He doesn't want to take a straight up gunfight. Even if he gets tagged through the edge of the wall, it's likely an elimination. So he tried to hedge his bets, hope that it was going to be a fake or some sort of a play there. Instead, he pushes them forward. Reflex still struggling here on the CT side. Can't really get too much steam in their coal engine. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The science doesn't really check out on that one, but they're really struggling to find their stride.
You're halfway there. Like,
not a chemist or a physicist.
It's not chemistry though, it's physics. Well, you guess you say physicist.
Yeah.
Whatever, shut up. Anyway, T-side players playing in towards the bad position. Molotov's out, trying to gain control. Got Impact, I think, is trying to take contact around that corner, but the SMG just at this range is not going to work out with the Molotovs coming through from BuzzKill. Yes, Reflex will make their way around the outside and try to get the backstab, but BuzzKill have all the map control they can work with. If they want to go to B, then they can go to B relatively confidently. They're going to run away, though, and they're going to go back to lobby. And K-Piz, look at the map control he has. Hawk's not checked this. This could be massive. 3 frags to find. He's going to line them up, get ready, and take them all down. Indeed, he will. K-Piz strikes 4 kills, not quite found, but his CT players know exactly where the rest of them are at. JSav is left alone. K-Piz, 4 kills. 4 kills for the man. An almighty backstab may have just saved Reflex yet another round.
Yeah, JSav couldn't really do too much. He eventually found the trade on K-Piz, but that is a huge flank. I think the issue that could potentially dawn on Reflex is how repeatable is a performance like that. I imagine once that flank has come through, once K-Piz has made a play like that, that's something that you plug up if you're BuzzKill. You always have somebody holding for those positions, just in case that if it does arise once more, they're ready for that push. This time it will be K-Piz wielding the ult here for Reflex. It seems a bit odd that we're seeing that cycle between so many of the hands here on that CT side. We saw Mog and Emmy both holding up the T side of things. K-Piz will wield that weapon. He won't find too much success either. Eliminated by the Beetle, but the ult's been recovered by Hawk as well. That's a huge problem now for Reflex.
Mog around his corner. Round through will take him down. Emmy on the other side. Over on a ramp position, 5 versus 3 scenario, and BuzzKill here with these pistols. Imagine if they got it here. Match point off the back of a force, a half buy, and it's looking more than likely. Russ gets a Tech 9 kill on Emmy. Impact trying to recover, but he's got so many T-side players to deal with. This also going down. He's alone. Rice will look around 180, but that's as far as he's going to go. Hype finishing off the job. The match point will go to favor of BuzzKill. Very unlikely fashion, I might add.
Yeah.
That definitely should not have been a round that they won. Yes, they had the rifles, but they certainly did not have the advantage in terms of the overall buy. And look at this. They do have it in this one. SMGs, Mag 7, XM1014. Yes, it's effective on this map, but you got to look at Reflex and just say, well, how much can they get done? And unfortunately, K-Piz can't get much done towards the outside. Mob with a max. He's got to catch that buckshot. Indeed, he does. Several players around that corner, but only getting the damage on Russ and Hype.
It up for Emmy, only the 1 kill. Yeah, it's going to be back and forth trades. They've actually got the advantage now. Hawk still sitting in towards doors. Impact with the XM that came up clutch, getting a couple of kills. Whisk still undetected on that A site, but Hawk, he bypasses him. He goes lower instead, and at least Whisk's going to have that information to work with, but the rotations are likely in the favor of Hawk. He knows what the timing should be, should Whisk go unchecked.
1 versus 1. Whisk making his way inland. Out towards Decon. Single doors here. Hawk's got the perfect watch on it and everything. Back behind the box. Sees the door open, but Whisk wins out the fight. Grab that AK. He doesn't need to. I guess he does actually. Reflex is going to be in with the 9th round on the CT side. Just staying alive at this stage in the game. BuzzKill not going to take it over just yet. But they are only 1 round away from doing so versus Reflex, who have 6 more to make the comeback to overtime.
And I think something we've been seeing a lot on this Reflex side is just this inability to support one another on their CT side setups. We saw when BuzzKill were on their respective CT side, as soon as a player took contact, there was immediately movement. They wanted to take fights at the same time. Reflex don't have that same level of structure. Quite often it's isolated gunfights. Even in that pistol round, they tracked down Capers by himself. They couldn't sort of hold on to that AWP. And BuzzKill, they're just going to stampede straight out. They then find an isolated duel towards one. Impact is dead as well. Emmy through the smoke. Reflex have completely crumbled here on that A-plus.
The trademark rush from BuzzKill. Reflex have already left the server. That's it. They're done. They know it's over. Capers 1 versus 5. Dismantled by a sheer rush of the BuzzKill side. And if he can get this clutch, then fair enough to him, but it's just so impossible here, Yuumi. 16-9. BuzzKill going to return on Nuke and get themselves in with a victory in the group stage.